After just 2 weeks, 3 blockbuster non-conference games have already impacted the college football playoff race. Number 2 Oklahoma earned what could end up being the best non-conference win of the season at then number 2 Ohio State. That was a true road game against what could be the Big Ten champion. Number 1 Alabama's season-opening win over number 11 Florida State in Atlanta will continue to carry weight with the selection committee because the Seminoles were at full strength and had starting quarterback DeAndre Francois for the majority of the game. And number 3 Clemson's win over number 15 Auburn will differentiate its resume from that of another contender that didn't play an equally difficult non-conference opponent. Week 3, however, shifts the focus to conference play. Number 24 Florida hosts number 23 Tennessee in a game that will help determine the SEC East, and Clemson travels to number 14 Louisville in a critical ACC Atlantic Division matchup. Number 12 LSU travels to Mississippi State for its first conference road game of the season, an important matchup in the SEC West. We can't win the division this week, but neither can they, Clemson coach Dabo Swinney said. We can't lose it this week, but neither can they. But man, you can get off to a great start and really stay in control of your destiny within the division, and that's what both teams want to do. We're going to work our tails off to see if we can get off to a good start in conference play. While there are important non-conference games this week, looking at you, Texas and USC, they are only a piece of the puzzle, and teams seem to be able to overcome non-conference losses more easily than league losses, especially in a tight division race. Any Power 5 team with a shot to win its conference title has a chance at the top 4, and USC's win over Stanford last week can turn out to be more important than a win over Texas on Saturday. Schedule strength is one of the factors that the committee members will use to distinguish among teams that are clustered, CFP Executive Director Bill Hancock said. The committee will evaluate the schedule for the entire season, not just non-conference games and not just conference games but the entire season. A team loses its margin for error if its schedule isn't as strong as the other teams in the cluster. Here's a breakdown of the top 5 games with CFP implications this weekend. Number 3 Clemson, 2-0, at number 14 Louisville, 2-0, ABC and ESPN app, 8 p.m. ET Saturday. Until Florida State or Louisville proves otherwise, Clemson has asserted itself as the ACC's top CFP contender, and the winner of this game will emerge as the frontrunner to win the ACC. If the Tigers lose, their chance to win the conference will drop from 43% to 21%, according to ESPN's Football Power Index. This game resonated all season last year, as Clemson narrowly beat Louisville 42-36 after stopping Lamar Jackson a yard short on 4th down with 33 seconds remaining. Can Clemson's defense do it again? The Tigers had 11 sacks in last week's win over Auburn, and they've recorded 60 since 2016, best in FBS. Jackson, meanwhile, has been the most sacked QB in that time, 48. The defending Heisman Trophy winner has been off to another sizzling start, posting back-to-back games with at least 300 yards passing and 100 yards rushing. Offensively, they're crazy good, Swinney said. It's video, game, numbers. Number to know, 0. Clemson has not allowed a touchdown this season. It's the first time since 1950 that Clemson didn't allow a touchdown in the first 2 games of the season. Texas, 1-1, at number 4 USC, 2-0, Fox, 8:30 p.m. ET Saturday. USC made a statement last week with its win over the number 14 Stanford, and although a home letdown against a still struggling Texas team wouldn't be an eliminator, it would put tremendous pressure on the Trojans down the stretch. However, USC coach Clay Helton is right, there shouldn't be any questions about the Trojans' strength of schedule, which includes both Texas and Notre Dame, plus 9 Pac-12 games. When you look at us in a playoff system world, you better create a great resume, Helton said. You're going to play quality opponents, and you're going to build a resume that if you do your job, there's no question you should be one of those 4 teams. Number to know, 6. Longhorns coach Tom Herman is 6-0 as a head coach in games against AP-ranked teams and 3-0 against teams in the top 10. Number 12 LSU, 2-0, at Mississippi State, 220, ESPN and ESPN app, 7 p.m. ET Saturday. This game will offer another clue as to whether LSU might really be able to challenge Alabama for the SEC West title. Right now, it's the Tide and everyone else, especially after Auburn's loss to Clemson, and ESPN's FBI favors the Tigers by only 56% in this game. The second half of LSU's schedule is loaded with 4 ranked opponents, which is why it can't afford to lose now. Mississippi State, meanwhile, can crack the rankings,